effect. So this is a scientific term. And what this means is that all living beings turn towards life-giving and light-giving sources. Plants turn towards the sun. We turn towards people. And this has been determined to be true in work environments. Consultants go in and they map out what's called energy hubs. And they find at the center of these energy hubs are what's called positive energizers. And these are the people who are appropriate cheerleaders. They believe in other people. They encourage them. And they give them confidence. And so when you're in proximity to a positive energizer, you can go on to do great, great things. And so in basketball, this is called the plus-minus factor. I don't know how many of you know Steph Curry with the Golden State Warriors. They just won the NBA championships the other night. Steph Curry has the highest plus-minus factor in basketball. And let me tell you what that means. What it means is that whenever he gets on the court, everyone plays better. They've determined that when he sets foot on the court, everyone gets more free throws, more assists, more baskets. So my challenge to all of you is, are you a positive energizer for everyone you meet? Are you? Do you make other people play better? And are the people who get into your life doing the same for you? Because I often say to my clients, it ought to be pretty hard to get on your A team. We have to be very discriminating about the people who get into our world. And the last thing I want to say here is this. Don't ever mistake talent and success for grit. Because one of the reasons I am so passionate about this topic is I had talent and I had success, but I didn't have grit, and I knew it. I did enough to get by, did enough to be successful, but this eating disorder called bulimia grabbed me by the neck at the age of 14 and shook the life out of me for the next 8 years. And this was back at a time when no one knew how anyone got better. We were considered the unhelpables and the hopeless, so I struggled alone. And the thing that I couldn't beat was the thing I wanted to beat, and that was my eating disorder. And so I hit my last bottom, which I detailed in my book, My Name is Caroline. I hit my last bottom in 1984. And interestingly enough, just to the point about it's our biggest failures that give us our biggest triumphs, it was in the seed of that failure, if you want to call it a failure, my lowest moment in life was when I found the seeds of the passion I needed to become gritty, because I wanted to live. I wanted to live. I didn't want to just check out a life at the age of 22. And so every day I did hard things in order to get better. And when I was better, I wrote the first book by a survivor of bulimia because I wanted other people to have hope. Again, grit inspires other people. Grit changes the world. And I know if I do happen to pass away anytime soon, I've saved a lot of lives by just giving people hope that there is a way out. But I developed grit, so don't ever think grit is just for Olympians and grit is for those people. It's for me, it's for all of us. We can all cultivate it, and we all should be cultivating it.
Nice hair.
Oh, thanks, Judy. So, and here's the other thing I want to say about grit. Grit has its own rewards. And so if there's no trophy at the end of the day, and you don't get a pay raise every time you do the right thing or do the hard thing, what is the reward? Well, the reward sneaks up on you, and I got the biggest reward of my life last August for doing the hard thing when it came to my eating disorder. I was swimming at Masters Nationals at the University of Maryland, and I heard my name on the pool deck. And of all people, it was my swim coach from Harvard, who had last seen me 30 years earlier as a depressed, defeated, bloated woman who was not reaching her potential. She didn't know what was wrong with me. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. But she knew something was wrong. And so this was my moment to have closure on all of what had occurred back then. And I went up to her and I said, Stephanie, I want to tell you something. I'm trying to be the national champion today. I missed it by a 1/10 of a second, by the way. But, and Ben got there. You know, so 1/10 of a second can be a lot. But anyway, I said, I'm here to try to achieve something, but the biggest reward I got is you being here and you watching me compete in events that I last swam 30 years ago. And so that's the reward for being gritty. It's quiet. It sneaks up on you. But it's always the sweetest reward at the end of the day. When you do hard things, the rewards are absolutely infinite. And I've been privileged to have some of those rewards in my own life. And so I've come up with what I call the Authentic Grit Challenge. I want to invite all of you to not just take the Authentic Grit Challenge, because I believe there are 3 things gritty people do every day that all of us can choose to do. We have micro moments throughout every day in which we can do these 3 things differently. I'm not going to spoil it by telling you what they are, but I want you to go look at this challenge. I've already mentioned them tonight, but I don't want to tell you all at once, because I think there are things that we can cultivate in ourselves. And again, as coaches, I believe that one of the things we do need to do is to challenge ourselves to be greater. As we call forth greatness in other people, how do we now begin to impact a generation and the people around us so that we can have the greatness that we want to call forth in others? Because when we do, we inspire and awe others, and that's when the world is a different place. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is awesome. So thank you very much.